Oh, we
All
live.
right. Yeah, we're live now. So we're just waiting for people to get in. So, Jesus.
Give it a few minutes.
Oh, man, what up?
What up, bitches?
You know we live, right? We're live, Layla.
Yo, I gotta watch that dude, man. I gotta watch Joel. I never know what he's gonna run off with.
See, Joel's my people.
All right, we got 3. Yay, we got 3 people.
Welcome, everybody. Come on
in. Yeah, welcome. Give us some time. We are trying to gather many in here before we kick this off.
Yep.
4, 5, 6.
Somebody else over there. I got Adrian streaming it from the bed.
Oh, who we lose?
Hey, Joe, Rams going down, man.
It's not crazy. To
9.
They
Got
have
9 people.
All right.
12.
You want to give it? That's not bad. We can get things rolling. What you think?
Let's give it to 2 minutes, and then we'll go off. Give some time to get everybody to get on and get everything situated, because some internet might be on the island. So
I've been trying to catch him on the phone, man. I can't get a hold of him lately.
Brandon probably can.
Hey, Tommy, thanks for helping me out on the Google Drive stuff, man.
Yeah, no problem, man.
I wouldn't have that on my
All right, we at 18. Do you want to kick this off now? Yeah. Layla, hit that light over there. All right. Yeah, that one over there. No, not that one. The other one. Straight to the wall. All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 6. Legion of Anglers goals and announcement of a new teammate. We got many to come. I think we're going every 2 weeks, right, Steve? Is that what the schedule is until everybody's done?
Yep.
Like to say, I know I missed this one, but I'd like to say thank you to everybody that came out to the cleanup, because I heard it was cold out there. I was in South Carolina, nice and warm. So thank you for coming out, because my thumbs were too small per Adam, so I couldn't pick up the trash. So, but anyway, that being said, we'll let Steve go over the agenda for this, and in the comments, leave a comment. What would you like to see from us, so we can give you a variety of things that it's not just us coming up with ideas. If you got an idea that you want us to do, leave it, and we'll see if we can make it happen. So without further ado, Snakehead Jesus.
I gotta let my hair down if you're gonna break out that title. It's gotta make it all official. All right. So everybody, welcome to this live stream from the Legion of Anglers. Now, I want to echo Rashawn really quickly, just say thanks to everybody that came out for our last cleanup. That was over on the Bush River, and we followed it up with a little bit of a fishing meetup over on the Susquehanna. Both events were fantastic. We cleaned up. First of all, we had probably a larger turnout than we've ever had. The turnouts just keep growing, and that's because of what y'all are doing, that y'all come out and join us. You care about these waters. You care about the whole impact we're trying to make. So thanks very much to all y'all for coming out. We had to fill close to 30 trash bags and then an assortment of composite board, tires, all the kinds of stuff we found out there. You never know what you're going to find out there, to be honest. But anyway, just want to say thanks. And we should have that video up on the Legion of Anglers YouTube. If you're not following that yet, gentlemen, if one of you could post that link in the comment section right here to Legion of Anglers YouTube and make sure everyone has it. I'm going to have the video of that cleanup and the fishing meetup that followed it. We're going to have that up. Should be Wednesday of next week. Post about 4 p.m. or so. So we'll have that on there too. And
hold on, Steve.
Yeah, what's up?
Don't mean to cut you off real quick. Yeah. Hey, so any of y'all that's in the chat and we can't see your name and you're on Facebook, please allow StreamYard access so we can see who we're talking to. Otherwise, you just come up with user. So
Yep. Yeah, good
All
point.
right.
Good point, dude. All right, you good?
Yeah, we're good. Sorry.
All right. So one last point on the meetup cleanups. So we actually have scheduled way ahead of time the April cleanup and fishing meetup. It's going to be our first one down in Virginia, and it's going to be on the Rappahannock River. And I can tell you, there's already a dedicated following of people who love that river. And it only takes going there once, maybe twice, for you to fall in love with it too. The Rappahannock's a heck of a river, but it could use some help with the cleanup. So we're going to go down there. We're going to help clean it up. And then afterward, we're going to catch some shad, maybe some perch, maybe some crappie. We'll see what happens, but it should be right in that run. Thanks much to our Virginia gentlemen on here. We got Joel, we got Joe, and where you at? And we got Twofold Fishing over there. All these gents on here have done that scouting work for us. You can find the details on Legion of Anglers Facebook. So, cleanup discussion is just about done. The next thing we're going to do tonight, we're going to go ahead and let Tight Lines 302, Mr. Rodney Copes, introduce himself to y'all. He's our newest member we're announcing to you. And then finally, we will get to all of us sharing our goals for 2022. And you watching at home, by all means, posters in the chat as well. So with all that being said, Mr. Copes, Major Copes, I'm passing it over to you, man. It's all you. Go ahead.
Thanks, Steve. How's everybody going? First off, let me say I'm honored and proud to be called an actual Legion of Angler. If you don't know, my name's Rodney Copes. I'm a Delaware native, just like Dave Wyatt, Orange 22. I didn't grow up fishing. I didn't start fishing till later on in life. Started my trips down to North Carolina. Some of my in-laws and family down there just started this friendly competition, and it's picked up from there. As you can tell, if you follow any of my social media, I am in the military. This July will be 30 years. 30 years in the National Guard. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I got one more goal I want to try to make. I want to try to meet with the military. Try to get my next rank, which is Lieutenant Colonel. I start my next military school in May. We'll see how that goes. As far as fishing, when it really started picking up for me is once I had my first top water hit. I'm not gonna lie, it scared the mess out of me because I wasn't expecting it. And from then, I just had to learn how to not try to yank the soul out of fish. I kept missing them on top water. I kept missing and missing. And once again, picked up even more once I got introduced to snakeheads. I caught my first one in 2019. And I think we all know how that goes. It's it's amazing. Other than that, it's not too much more I got.
Well, that's short and sweet. That was great.
Yeah.
See, that's the military side. That's the military side.
Wait, I don't know because I
Everybody
know
looks at me like, hey,
because...
everybody looks at me when I'm talking like, hey, will you shut up and get off the stage? Like,
Yeah,
well, brother, go ahead.
Who said somebody else?
That was
Like I
Musket.
said, I'm honored, and I can't wait to actually get with all you, fish with all of you, break bread, and do all the things that we do, travel, all that good stuff.
We're going to have a lot of different fishing meetups from the salt to the fresh in the Delmarva area and beyond. So we're going to have some time on the water. So given that we got your intro now, brother, you kick things off for us. What are your fishing goals for 2022, man?
Oh, that's easy. So first off, is I want to grow my actual social media presence, especially my YouTube. Start putting out content that people actually want to watch, other than just reactionary catching a fish, oh crap, things like that. I mean, I do have my Sam Jackson moments. That's actually a series I'm going to try to keep going on my YouTube channel. And everybody who knows Sam Jackson, they can understand what that means. You miss a fish or whatever, and some choice words come out of your mouth. Second is, since I'm in, I got my first kayak in 2020. I want to explore a whole lot more. multi-state. I already fished Virginia. I fished Maryland. I haven't fished PA yet in the kayak. That's definitely on the list. I've hit Jersey, but I want to branch out. I want to hit as many waters as I can, target new species that I haven't really caught. I haven't really caught any walleye, anything like that. I want to go after some smallmouth. Really want to go after some smallmouth because I heard their fight is amazing as well. I've caught one or two by chance, but I haven't specifically targeted them. Other than that, I want to actually get into more saltwater fishing. Even though I'm in Delaware, I haven't saltwater fished much outside growing up with my dad a couple times. I might go out there and just throw it out, but mostly it's drinking beer. Waiting for something to bite.
I share at least a few of those goals with you, man. Because I think the first time I caught walleye, I was a little kid, way out at Deep Creek Lake, man, and pretty much catching them by accident on night crawlers. And you can catch them on the Susquehanna up here, but by and large, there aren't too many walleye waters nearby. Or if there are, I don't know about it. I think you might be able to get them in a few of the reservoirs around here, just not in numbers. But that and hitting the salt, I know if I don't even if I don't want to hit the salt, Rashawn's gonna chloroform me and put me in a truck and drag me out to the salt. I have no doubt about that this year. But I don't want to cut you off, ma'am. Have you hit all your goals? I want to make sure give you a chance to hit all your goals before we rotate to another.
Oh, I got quite a bit, but that's enough to get started. I got my first fly rod over the holidays. I want to get into fly fishing a bit. I've been practicing out in the yard, and it just feels weird. But I definitely want to get into some fly fishing.
Learning curve with it. What are the specs on the fly rod you got?
It's just a kit lens I got off of Amazon.
That's not a bad way to start, man.
It's not because I started looking at the prices and fly rods. They get up there. So I figure, hey, let me start really cheap in case I don't like it. One other thing is, I know most of us are avid snakehead fishers. I want to continue to advocate for this fish that I feel is highly misunderstood. I know a lot of you feel the same.
Brother.
They've had a very bad PR, campaign against them. And I'm going to continue to advocate for them, for whoever's going to listen. And then
we'll be happy to add your voice to that chorus, dude.
And my last goal, I will say, there's many more, but my last one is I got to catch my first dragon. I haven't caught my first dragon yet.
Oh, what's your biggest so far, dude?
Just shy of 8 pounds, 29 and a half inches.
You're right on the borderline, dude. Right. It's coming this year.
It was there.
It's coming this year.
Yeah, you're right there, man.
So I guess here's my question to y'all. What is the consensus of the dragon? Is it 30 plus inches and 10 plus pounds? Or is it one or the other?
There's a third option, since we're going to get into this argument. The third option is got to be 15 plus. And then you count it as a real dragon. That's kind of an elitist mindset. I got a few buddies out there.
That's great. Cambo trout. I'm snakehead Jesus.
So
I'm going to throw that out. Just being kind of a novice snakehead guy, man. I think anyone who's catching, if you can land especially in a kayak, because what a lot of guys don't understand is, from a kayak angler's perspective, getting that dude in the boat, and it's completely different than getting that snakehead in a John boat or bass boat or whatever. I completely think it's a completely different animal. It's a completely different game. So, from a kayak angler's perspective, if you can get a snakehead over. What's our goal? We have it already. It's like, I'm not making this up. This is it's what 10. It's 10 pounds
10 pounds, 30 plus inches. That's what I'm hearing.
30 inches.
So,
Yep.
so I was wanting somebody else to say it because I didn't want to say it. So that's what it is. So if you can get a 10 pound or 30 inches, then you've got a dragon in your hand.
So that's the key is the or. Before, I mean, everything else I've been hearing, it's and. Like you got to have both of those measurements to meet the criteria for a dragon. Personally,
right now, last year,
my one just shy of 8 pounds. That's my dragon, and I'm happy until I get the big one.
Yeah,
29.5 was pretty.
We came up with kind of the standards of what was going to be the what was our name? We came up with, Steve. I was
was it
Chanaconda?
I think it was Chanaconda. Yeah, Chanaconda. Now Chanaconda was for one that was 40 inches or longer, and that's
mythical. Yes.
That's I don't know what to say about that. I'm sure it's out there. Like I really do believe it's out there because I know guys have caught them in the high 30 inches. I think I might have seen a picture of one a while back. They said that just hit the 40 mark, but God, could you imagine that next to the kayak? I think the only way to make it more difficult to land a snakehead, aside from a kayak, might be like a belly boat, man. Like I think that's the only way it could possibly be harder to land and control a freaking snakehead. But yeah, I think we'll go with 30 inches or 10 pounds, but that might generate some consternation with a few people, like my buddy Dan Mancari. He's a pretty much a purist, man. He says it's got to be 15 or bigger to call it a dragon. But
shit,
I just
to go next.
You should always consider, because I think this is the standard. You know what we say tonight or what we say in the future is always going to be the standard, because I can tell you from as a follower of Legion of Anglers for the past couple of years, or at least a year, and watching all of what was being said on social media, what is said becomes the standard. And I think Legion of Anglers is the standard when it comes to snakehead fishing in this region, which is the Mid-Atlantic, which is where the northern snakehead is going to be found. So I just want to believe that if I catch a 30-incher or if that thing, weighs over a certain pounds, I'm going to tell you on my social media post, I caught a dragon. And if you want to debate me, then I would ask, okay, show
me. So what's funny about that? I was on the phone with Steve when I caught my 17.5, and everybody was like, "Oh, let me see the scale." I actually have the video of the scale of when I did it on the Boga grips, but I was on the phone with Steve, and Steve was like, "What? I call you." I was like, "I'll call you back." I watched him hit it, and it was just like everybody's like, "I don't believe you. I don't believe you." Blah blah blah, and man, it's just like I have no reason to lie.
No,
and right? I'm not going to ever, because if I feel like karma is gonna come back on me if I did that, and that's just what it is. So, but
I remember Steve.
Good God,
get it out. Steve wanted to tell it so bad, but he was like, "No, I'm gonna wait."
He's not to get into that conversation, but I can tell you from like the real man's like deep down in the ditches perspective, we want what standard is, and we want to know what that. Coming from you, man, and that's what the Legion of Anglers is going to really bring to the table, I think. So, and then we can have all the debates and all the conversations we want afterwards on social media. But I think it's fun. I think it's great. If you catch a big ass fish like that, I'm going to tell you this: I'm a bass fisherman, and if you catch anything over 6 pounds in fresh water, other than a blue cat, a game fish. The way that we catch snakeheads, you're just having a great time, and I think it's a great experience, and it's a great time to have. And you don't realize that you can't really catch a fish of that size in fresh water, except for a pike or a muskie, in any part of our country. So the snakehead has definitely earned it. I love that we're all supporting that.
Nice.
Let him keep talking, because he's really stroking my ego, and I'm really enjoying it, man. No, but actually, on that note, Joe, do you want to go ahead and let us know your goals for 2022, man?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. So my goal, it's always going to be big fish for me. I think for most anglers, it's always going to be the big fish you can get. I dedicated my angling career, if you want to call it that, and my angling future to fishing from a kayak platform. I've owned bass boats. I've owned John boats. I've never owned anything bigger than probably a bass boat, but kayak angling has kind of like, hooked me, and that's where I'm at. So I think that's pretty much what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And when it comes to goals, and my Virginia guys know this because we've all talked about it, and I just expressed it to Tommy today, that goals for us in Virginia are not necessarily snakehead, because we catch some big ass snakehead down here. We don't catch a lot of snakehead, but we catch some big ass snakehead when we do catch them. But I tell you what, we don't catch from a kayak, and if you can catch anything bigger than you or your boat from a kayak, I think that's a goal. And so we're all looking at big ass bull reds and big ass cobia from a kayak. And if you can do that, I think that's a regional thing for us. I think that's something we should all strive to do, to put that check in the box. It's a big check in the box. I hear you giggling back there, but I'm for sure like that's going to be my goal. Just kind of be a little bit, comical about it. But yeah, I want to catch a big red from my kayak. I want to catch, and I want to catch just a cobia from a kayak. It doesn't have to be big. I'll catch a rat. I don't care. Whatever. I've never caught a kayak, so I'd be happy with that. I later on, hopefully you'll get to hear my story about where I come from and fishing on the West Coast. And there's some crazy shit that goes on out there with hooking into hammerhead sharks from a kayak and the sailfish stories. You see it online all the time.
Oh, man.
I think what our comparison to that is probably the cobia.
So with that going, I got a question for everybody here on the stream right now. Go ahead and raise your hand if a bull red is on your list for 2022. Am I the only one that on my list? No way. Get out of here. All right, there's got to be a few out there, dude, because I still haven't caught a red in my life. I've caught sea trout and other ones like that, but
I offer this
bull
challenge.
Red is on my list.
I offer this challenge to everybody. Bull red on a frog.
I'll take that challenge. I'm in.
From an ascend.
On a frog?
On a frog.
Catches one fish. One fish.
I didn't catch one. I caught several. As a matter of fact, I caught one that broke me off. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that.
Another question for here.
So is that technically a catch?
No.
I was kind of going there myself. It's like, if it broke you off, how'd you catch it?
I'm talking about the other fish.
Oh, the other? Okay, I'm sorry.
Talking about the other one, Adam. The other one fish.
That's all right. You know what, Adam? Just because you said that, I'll put the video up for you because I didn't put it out. I didn't want to.
Okay.
Thank you. Motivation for the day.
Another poll right here. Who else had cobia on their 2022 list? We're going to have some good trips going out this year because we all got a lot of the same fish on this list, man. We're going to meet up and we're going to hit these fish hard this year. Oh, it's going to be a good year. All right. Well,
Adam, I'll let you hold my kayak. But that is said, I don't know, man.
It's because your thumbs are not strong enough.
Yeah.
Can I go next with the goals? Because I got to bail out here pretty quick. So everybody's asking questions about fly rod. Rodney and I have both been talking about coming up into fly fishing. There's a couple spots that are pretty near to both of us that you can get out to that are just, they look way too good, And the idea of catching a snakehead from a kayak on a fly is just really, really crazy appealing to me. Like I can't even imagine what the mechanics of it will be, but my goal is to try to figure that out this year. So everybody that's asking about like specs on the rod itself, I'm going with an 8 weight. It's pretty beefy. It's not the kind of thing that you'd want to go out there to use for like stock trout or whatever on a local stream, like something smaller like a 4 or a 5. I know I'm not alone in the objective of trying to get on them, and there are some other YouTubers that are out there, or YouTubers, even some local guys that are out there specializing in that. But it's a big thing for me. I really want to get out there, and I really want to land, just something decent, that like a snakehead, usually a popper, something like that. Another goal that I've got, I do not live in Delaware. I live in Maryland, but I do spend a lot of my time fishing in Delaware. I want to join our guy David Wyatt on the list of Delaware's elite anglers this year.
Yeah,
that's, and the sooner we get started on that, the better. I mean, we were looking at the way that system works, my buddy Scott and I, and like snakeheads are basically like a free fish on the checklist, right? Like there's no size limitation or anything. So, right off the bat, you've got 1 out of the 5 that you need. It doesn't even matter how big it is. Last for me, and then I got to kind of dip out of here. I've got some friends coming into town. I really want to learn how to design and carve lures. I got some ideas for a couple of different builds. I want to design something that's never been made before. I want to build it, and then I want to use it to actually actively catch at least one fish this year. I'm a big fan of the Marling Baits channel. I enjoy watching the 1-day builds and all that other good stuff that are out there. It feels like the kind of thing that I could do. I don't, by any stretch of the imagination, want to copy them, but there's some stuff that's out there that's left on the table. I want to get creative and use the shop and the woodworking ability that I do have to make something kind of cool. So
that sounds really cool, dude. I like that, especially that lure crafting. I like that a lot.
It should be fun. And there's one last one that I'm not sure is going to work out, but I really want to go home. I want to get back to the Great Lakes, and I want to try to get it just even if it's a week. I haven't been home in I think I did the math the other day, 8 or 9 years, and I haven't been home fishing in even longer. I want to go back and take what I've learned out here and just go tear it up. Anyway, we'll see if that one works out.
What do you plan on chasing on the Great Lakes, dude?
It's going to have to be towards the end of the summer. I'm thinking late August. One of the big factors for me is mosquitoes. The later you go in the year, the less likely you are to get eaten alive. And when I go out and I make these trips, I primitive camp from start to finish. So there's a lot of boxes that have to get checked. I've got some things that definitely need to be done. I'm going to try to convince my son. I got a kid who's 16 years old to try to come up there with me and turn it into just a small adventure. Should be fun.
And Roger, dude, I like it. I like it a lot.
Cool.
All right, Mr. Twofold Fishing up there. I see you in the top left, brother. You want to hit it next?
Sure thing. I guess goals wise for this year, I'm a bit backwards fishing wise. One of my goals is to learn how to bass fish. Sounds strange to most other fishermen, because most fishermen start bass fishing and move on to other fish. But I grew up fishing inshore, using bait and bottom rig lures, and then moved on to fishing for snakeheads and catfish. And never really liked bass, largemouth bass. But last year when I started fishing the snakehead tournaments, I really enjoyed that. So, I'd like to branch out and, join or fish the KBF tournaments, also the Northern Virginia KBA tournaments. So in order to do that, I got to learn how to fish for bass. But so that's one of my goals. And second, one of the things I'm really, drawn to is how everyone talks about how fishing helps them with, mental health. There's mental health benefits to fishing. So I want to figure out a way to really showcase that on social media to folks that don't fish, kind of share that joy that all fishermen have, or fishermen, fisherwomen have about being out in nature and just the healing aspect of it, and put it on screen and kind of show that to folks and maybe get them to come out and fish with us. Then on top of that, of course,
happy thoughts tonight. Just happy thoughts, man.
And then on top of that, of course, breaking PBs, catching reds, and also catching huge sheep's head. That's what I want to do too when we're out there.
Good stuff, dude. I was a little distracted for a minute there because we got one guy in the chat named Susquehanna Stan. And he asked me, have I ever heard of somebody catching snakehead through the ice? I told him no. I've heard of him catching snakehead on the edge of an ice sheet by throwing a cast net trying to catch bait for catfishing, but I hadn't heard of anyone pulling it through the ice yet. He said he's going to send some pics over, so it sounds like somebody might have got a snakehead ice fishing. That would be really cool, man. I wouldn't expect you to happen very often, but that would be a cool catch. But dude, I gotta say, brother, if you're just starting in the kayak game with snakehead and bass, am I misremembering, or did you win one of those KBF tournaments this past year, man?
Yes. Well, I've been kayak fishing since like 2017 or 18. I actually started out with Joel. We started together chasing snakeheads. And yes, so when those tournaments came through last year, I thought I'd give it a shot. Said, hey, why not? I like fishing for these things, and it turned out I did very well. I think it was there was the 1-day tournament that you guys hosted. It was the five state battle, I believe it was called. I won that one. Then the KBF June month-long tournament, as well as the Delaware Paddle Sports Medusa tournament. So
killing the game, bro. That's fantastic.
I did okay, and hopefully that luck will follow through to the bass fishing as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, gents, if you don't mind, I'll jump in real quick and I'll share my goals. I mean, a couple of them already been said, like cobia, bull reds. Those are definitely high on my list. We're also planning a trip down south, and on that trip, I'm going to have bullseye, snakehead, and peacocks on my list. I may even add some very, very, very large fish in the salt to that list. We'll see what we can work into the schedule, but that's going to be a big part of it. Aside from that, a goal I have every year is to break that world record for snakehead in whatever state I happen to be in. But, we'll see how that goes, man. I love catching snakehead. Y'all know that. We'll see how that part goes. Let me make sure if I topped out and hit all of my points. Yep, that hits all my big goals. Short list for me this year, but the biggest thing for me is branching out. I'm a creature of habit and a creature of comfort. So, I found snakehead. I love snakehead, and you see what happens. I fish snakehead all the time. But this year, I'm going to try and get out there more, do a little bit more fishing. We're going to chase the big flatheads and everything with Brandon, get on the salt, chase the reds, cobia, and we'll see what else this year. Yep, that's mine, man. Infamous fishing. What do you plan to do this year, dude?
Honestly, it's not really about me this year. I just want to try to build the community back up. For me, I'm the most unselfish guy out. So my thing is just everybody getting back together. And, I'm a real big advocate for PTSD because fishing for myself is my healing. So whatever John's going to do, I'm going to be right there with him. It's one of the biggest things that myself and a lot of other people deal with. You know what I mean? So the support to everybody else to try to get him out there. Now, granted, I take it back sometimes, I be mad, and then I want to leave because you catch that one fish and it falls off, and then you get frustrated. But, that's only human nature. But that's it. Other than, and fishing-wise, honestly, I'm trying to go on a sleigh ride. And I don't need to say anything else. Everybody know what the sleigh ride is when you hook into something. And I'm just going to, and sheep's head, I got a sheep's head rod that I want to use. And some other stuff. But other than that, man, this is really about trying to get the community back up and realize, prove people wrong. Because a lot of stuff, people run their mouth and talk a good game. And I'm not trying to I'm just trying to shut people up, to be honest.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think we're doing it. And the thing about it is, it's like people, if you don't know, people send us a lot of screenshots of the trash talk that goes on out there. So when it comes to y'all who are just kind of shadow dissing, we know who you are, man. But I mean, do you? At the end of the day, man, do you? Like, we're here to help the community. We're going to be at these cleanups. We're going to be at these meetups. We're going to be hosting tournaments. And we're going to keep on building, and we're not going to stop. So, I mean, I'd rather y'all just join the party, and let's all work towards positive change. But if you want to hate on the low, I mean, do your thing, man. If it makes you feel better, do your thing, dude.
I do want to say something else, Steve. I do want to say shout out to Tracy Hortz and Lady Chesapeake because they moved their show to yesterday because we had our Legion Live. I don't know if they did it intentionally, but what was going on, but I would like to say thank you for that. Hopefully we get on the water with them, or at least some of us. That'll be great. So a lot of changes that we need to do. I mean, not we need to do, but we bring it forward, and that's what my goals are. So you see me out there, like I've had people walk up to me, ask me questions, and nothing but positive stuff. So don't feel, well, maybe you might feel scared to talk to Brandon. He might eat you, but I'm just joking. Hey, if you got any questions, if you ever see us out there, or send somebody a message on the DM, nobody's not going to answer your question. Granted, we're not going to tell you exactly spots because I know a lot of people give that question. They'd be like, well, what's your spot? So.
But we'll give you all the tools you need to find your own spots, man, and then do well once you find them. We'll definitely do that. But since you called out Brandon, man, you want to let 410 Commando get in on this?
All right. So my short list of goals this year, cobia. No size. I've just never caught a cobia. I'm trying to butter up Scott Grassmick as we speak. You know, I'm like, hey, you want to catch some things I catch? You got the setup for cobia. Let's make something happen. Cobia, I want to use my kayak more. I admittedly am new to the kayak game. I fish from boats. I bought a kayak last year because I could never get anybody to go out on the boats with me. The one boat's fine. The other boat I like to have a helping hand with, and just nobody's ever available. So I bought a kayak and just invited myself along with other people. So I'm going to spend some more time on the kayak this year. Probably going to fish a few tournaments. I stayed away from them as a personal choice. As Twofold mentioned, you know, there's a lot of mental health aspects to fishing. And that's my getaway. That's how I just go be left alone. But through some changes, I'm probably going to participate in some tournaments this year. And then, you know, my season long, I'm still going to chase that Maryland Flathead record. You know, last year, Joshua Dixon raised that bar on me a little bit. Bunch of times I came within a pound or two of making it, and then Josh caught his whale. So I got a little more work to do, but that's always going to be something in the back burner throughout the year.
Good shit, dude.
You know, other than that, man, I'm just trying to get out this year, spend some time,
Can you hear me okay? I think I might have lost audio there for a second.
I think we lost him.
Oh, no. I mean, Brandon does live up in the sticks, folks. So,
hey, sorry about that. I had some technical difficulties. But now this year, my main goal is just to get out, fish with people, have a good time. Anybody that knows me knows, like, I almost always have a seat open in a boat. You know, I got no problem sharing anything with anybody. I just like to catch fish. I do okay at it.
Well, Jared's in the comment section, dude, and he says he's a great helping hand anytime, man.
Hey, Jared's got an invite. Especially if he has a truck right now, because I'm down a tow vehicle. So if anyone wants to haul a boat, hit me up.
Dude.
That's it for me, man.
All right. Mr. Orange 22. You already knocked out Elite Angler last year. Like, how are you going to improve this year, man?
Man, I've got a ton of goals this year, so many so that I really don't know if I'm going to be able to hit them all, to be honest, because there's just so many things I want to do. Thankfully, I've got a lot of life ahead of me, hopefully, to knock these out. But I've narrowed it down to just 5 for today. First one, I need to catch my first dragon. I've snakehead fished too much in the past year for me to not have caught one so far. So I got to knock that out, hopefully in the spring. On top of that, I want to catch 100 snakeheads this year. That should be attainable, I think. I'm going to be targeting them a lot, obviously. And to kind of build off of that, I want to explore Maryland waters a lot more. And I know now that I'm going to be fishing with y'all a lot more, I'm definitely going to be doing that. So I've actually never caught a Maryland snakehead. So that's definitely going to be something that I'm going to get done this year and do a lot of. One of my favorite fish is the chained pickerel. And the Delaware state record is 7 pounds, 3 ounces back in 1972. And I want to smash that record, man. I personally, some people may not believe me, but I personally have hooked the state record pickerel, and it got off right in front of my face. And I know where he is. So I'm coming for him this year. I'm coming for him this year, and that's definitely something I want to chase anyway. So it's going to be a great year of just meeting up with all you guys and fishing with y'all, getting new bucket list species, and I'm excited for it, man. I can't wait for some warm weather.
Sorry, dude. Tommy's question distracted me. That's good stuff, though. Sound like in WITSEC? I don't even know what that means, man.
Hey, I think so. Last time we did this, I was getting the same kind of feedback when certain people would talk. It sounds like you're using that voiceover when people don't want their identities. I'm not hearing it now, but I would imagine that that's what he's talking about.
Does this sound better? I took my AirPods out.
Yeah.
That's a little better, yeah.
Maybe not? Okay. We'll go with it. Now, just the one comment I want to put out there that I just put in the chat right here. One of the beautiful things that I'm really excited about this year is that we're bringing on members from Delaware. We're bringing on members from Virginia. We got Angel down there in Florida. And one of the great things about, developing those friendships across these state lines, when you want to fish these other states, you don't have to scout the areas. You already got buddies who know the waters, man. So you can just exchange fishing trips. Like, well, where should we go for this state? Where should we go for this state? You can just swap those fish. When it comes to fishing meetups this year that we're going to be bringing y'all, it's going to be some amazing, dude. It's going to be some amazing content.
It's going to be good. Oh. Hey, also, I'm looking forward to it because Orange 22 is going to take me to catch a chain pickerel. He just doesn't know it yet. And so I'll take him out for his first Maryland snakehead. I feel like that's a fair trade,
Dude, absolutely. Absolutely. Me and Steve were just talking today, actually, about lining up a pickerel trip. So you want to get in on the
fun fact, I've never caught a pickerel. Ever.
Really?
Even by accident. I've tried intentionally. I've tried accidentally. It doesn't work for me. I'm convinced they don't exist and all y'all's pictures are Photoshopped.
Dude, I can put you on them. We'll make it happen.
Hey, something I didn't say. There's some guys in the comments. I can't reply right now because of how I'm set up. But man, if any of you guys are talking about going fishing, all you got to do is hit me up on Facebook and Messenger or on IG at 410 Commando. Man, let's set something up. I'm willing to go with anybody.
We lost Steve. So
he said he's got to get off for a little bit.
All right, so we got to go and finish. Well, not finish. The next. Was you the last one, Joe? Weren't you? Yeah.
I got a lot of goals.
Snakehead Slayer.
All right, so my main goal this year is to get a world record bluegill.
I can see that.
What are you laughing for, man?
I can see it.
Thank you.
I can see it, man.
Oh, it. No, I already did it. I caught a bunch of bluegills already. No, I mean, just like everybody else, I'm planning to do a little bit more inshore saltwater fishing. Like Joe said, I'm probably going to be tagging along with Joe and John doing some cobia fishing, some red bull reds. I was about to say red bulls. Bull reds, and also some doormat flounders. Those are my goals to catch on the kayak. And then tog also. And then my last one is just breaking PBs. This is the year to do it.
Fucking bluegill.
And a world record bluegill. That is on the list. Why y'all laughing, man? Hey, so when we're fishing together, you see my little freshwater pole. You guys don't joke me, all right? You guys know what I'm doing. I'm trying to get a world record bluegill.
It's so stupid.
Oh my god.
Good luck with that, man. Good luck.
Yo. Man.
Man.
There's no bluegill. The snakehead ate them all. Oh man.
That's good.
Man, I saw a thing the other day. It said, would you rather catch a 100-pound catfish, a 10-pound bass, or a 5-pound bluegill? And I'm going to be honest, I said bluegill. I feel like a 5-pound bluegill is more impressive.
That's
yeah, that is impressive.
Yeah.
I'd like to even see a picture of one.
I'm trying to crush that.
A 5-pound bluegill would be one hell of a fight. Think about it. The little ones fight. They'd be like,
especially on ultralight.
I'm talking about bluegills for.
But hey, but honestly, you got to think about it. Bluegill and catfish are the gateway fish, and sunfish, because most kids start off they're catching. I mean, some get lucky and catch a bigger fish, but a lot of them start off catching catfish and mostly bluegill and sunfish.
Yep.
And that's what gets them addicted. So I talked to Steve about this, about doing a bluegill tournament. I'm not lying. It's fun. That's why I was laughing when you said that, because that's something different than anything else.
Exactly. I'm down with that.
Joe,
you missed my goals, man. So I'm going to repeat it again.
All right, go ahead.
My goal is to catch a world record bluegill. All right.
Yo.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about leaving.
Steve's like, oh, this dude's crazy.
Hey, if you got waters or bluegill that size, let me know and I will be there. I got cousins out in Oklahoma with farm ponds, man, and go out there and literally catch. They call them perch out there, but it's essentially like stump knockers or red gill sunready or something. Massive fish out there.
Yeah, I've been fishing out in Oklahoma before. They got some massive bluegills out there, massive ones.
It's on the ultralight, man. You're not going to find a harder fight than that. They'll fight as hard as anything out there. Yeah, I like that. All right, who have we not hit? Has everyone set their goals now?
Yeah, we got everybody. Except I guess we'll make up the ones that when they come on the next time we do live, we'll have them do their quick stuff.
Beat it out of them.
Yeah. So I, like I said, I was telling everybody earlier when we started, if you guys have ideas for us you want to see on the show, on the live, you want Brandon to do a rig like he did last time, or you want Orange 22 to do what he does to catch pickerel, and Rodney to do his Sam Jackson stuff, leave a comment.
I want Joe to do a bluegill rig.
Hey, let me YouTube that first. Then I get back to you.
Oh man. No.
Where is Tommy Robinson? Like, we've been mentioning bluegill, and he hasn't jumped in here yet, man. You talking about a panfish fanatic? That guy is a panfish fanatic, dude. Oh man.
Bluegill over 4 pounds. That's the world record. I'm gonna crush that this year, baby. Joe, why you laughing, man? That's fucked up. You're supposed to boost me up and motivate me.
All right, so nothing against pan fishermen, because y'all know there's like serious pan fishermen people out there. Like that's their thing. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
But like, I don't know, man. I don't want to compete with them and like trying to catch the world record.
I mean, like you
Joe, he got like a plan. I think we can figure this out.
you got to find a special body of water to have the conditions be right to grow bluegill that are that big and that numbers. Like, y'all ever heard of I think it's Lake Havasu out in Arizona?
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen it might be red ear sunfish. I'm not sure what species it is out there, but species of sunfish. And I mean, the record for the lake is upwards of 5 pounds, I'm pretty sure. And like 3 and 4 pound versions of those panfish out there are not rare. It's nuts. As I say, just need one of Cambo Trout frogs.
And then you got Rashawn. He's gonna try to catch it on a frog.
Yeah.
Hey, let's. I'm a pause right there. I do have a little frog that I got for a bluegill. Yep. I'm telling you, I'm trying to. Well, some fish I can't catch on a frog. There's no way I'm catching a sheep's head on a frog. There's no way I'm catching a tog on a frog. But anything else, if I can catch it on a frog, I'm going to try.
Hey, Rashawn, I got that little frog you gave me, man. You want me to show it, or
Yeah, show it. I don't have my frog with me, so those of you watching, I have every frog ever. I got frog from Japan. I got frog from different countries. I got everybody's frog that they have, and I try them out all the time. I don't really do. I keep getting beat up by Tommy to do reviews on the frogs, but I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings because some of these frogs suck. I'm just going to tell you this straight up. So,
it is what it
a lot
is.
of the frogs, if you think about it, a lot of these frogs are built for bass. Oh yeah. So a lot of the frogs, see, they're right here. This right here is on Tackle Warehouse. It is the Spro Poppin' Frog 40. It's that big. It's one of the deadliest.
That's a quarter. That's a quarter. It's next to.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So.
When those snakehead are being finicky, I can't wait to put this on there.
Man.
So yeah, I mean, if I can, just to kind of throw it out there, because coming from like the bass world, and I don't want to like drag this out any longer, but I think that is probably the challenge for all of us as snakehead anglers, if we're gonna dub ourselves that, is that what are the patterns? And because when you look at the bass world and why the bass industry is the way it is because they can find different patterns on what baits work. And when it slowly has happened in the pike world, and it slowly has happened in the muskie world. And I think that's where snakehead should probably start to go. I think if we're looking at like different baits and different types of seasons, and Cambo has made a great point of that for the past 5 years now online. But it really comes down to, all right, when do you go from a small frog to a big frog? When do you go from a subsurface bait to a chatterbait, that doesn't shake as much? Or what? Because that's what bass communities have done and have industrialized it to where they can make profit from it. And I'm not saying that's what we're trying to do, but I think that's really what we as a snakehead community can start to identify, that there are types of baits that we can use during types of seasons, even if it's on the most minuscule scale. So, yeah, I 100%. I got guys telling me all the time, throw this, throw that. I'm like, yeah, well, I do pretty well on just this for snakehead. But, maybe there is a pattern that we can find that we can exploit and help other fishermen and upcoming fishermen throughout the generations figure it out.
Pink.
I'll leave that to Cambo because that's not my expertise.
Pink everything.
So color again. So here we go, colors and things like that.
Like
I just throw spinner baits all the time, and fish show up at the boat.
You're full of shit, man.
Ain't that right, Rashawn?
Yeah. So let me tell you the story. So I never fished Dundee Creek. He took me to a spot somewhere that we're not going to tell you, but it's on Dundee. There's a lot of places you could go.
Yeah.
He went out there and threw a spinner bait and caught a snakehead. I didn't catch shit. It is what it is. It's his life. I honestly don't really throw spinner bait. I only throw spinner baits for bass if I'm fishing the bass tournament. I had a bad experience because I had a lot of snakehead hit the blades only on spinner baits, and I had it happen in Florida too. So instead of that, I just throw a pink Meps. and that's it. Or SS Custom, one of his. But if I don't want that bigger hook into the fish, because some of the hooks kind of, when I set the hook, it might damage them, I just downsize the hook and throw the MEPS. I know everybody's like, oh, it doesn't last long, but I've caught plenty of fish on one MEPS, and Steve can vouch for me on that because he's seen them, and that's just me. And I've caught big bass on MEPS. So
Joel has caught big bluegill on MEPS.
He probably has. Look at his face.
He's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, I'm going to one thing out here really quickly. And me personally, y'all can keep it going, but I got to hop off and support my wife because she's actually going to start a live stream for her med school stuff. And that means flop out and chase kids for a little bit. But last
on my way.
Call right here was from Mr. Ibrahim Adia. And then he's talking about looking at us doing blooper segments. And I can tell you right now, we have some challenge ideas coming up this year for videos that we're going to bring out to y'all that are going to guarantee blooper situations, man. So that's coming. That's coming. But for me personally, I got to hop off. Thanks very much to everybody for joining the stream. Like Rashawn said, you got ideas for our future streams, send them to us. We can actually start brainstorming on it. One I already saw was for more salt action. That sounds pretty good to me. We can get that set up. All right. But hey, thanks, fellas. Again, Rodney, you're coming out for the team right here. Welcome to the team, brother. Happy to have you. Looking forward to 2022. And I'm going to hop off for now. It's all you, fellas. Take it easy.
All right.
Thanks, fellas.
Hey, so I want to give y'all, this is a conversation that we all in the Legion had in our little Legion group chat. A lot of people think that if you have these big reels with this strong drag, you need it. Most of these reels that you guys are using out there are for bass, and that's what it is. Now, if you're frogging through grass, can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
You still got me? Sorry, I froze. All right. So if you're frogging through grass, you don't want a weaker drag because it's just going to tear it up. You need a bigger reel. I mean, a lot of people will argue with that, and I'm not saying I'm a professional, but everybody has their own opinion. And also, when you store and if you're complaining about your drag, do not keep your drag locked down when you're not fishing. Loosen it up so you don't have that tension on it. That's just a tip I have. You want your drag to last longer, or you could upgrade to Carbon Tech and still do the same thing and have a little more power. Because me and Joe over there, we had this conversation in our group, and everybody was saying it's just a lot of stuff, and you don't need anything spectacular for fishing in general. Like Brandon said, he threw a spinnerbait and caught a snakehead, and I was throwing something and I just couldn't catch it either. So it is what it is. You could use minnows if you want. I'm not using minnows, but I have, but I'm not. But to each his own. Anybody got any other things? I mean, because honestly, a lot of people, it's like, oh, they need to buy a $300 and $400 rod to catch a snakehead or catch a pickerel or anything. And so, and also, I want to put this out there. Make sure you follow Orange22 and use his link so you can help him out on Catch Co. So if there's a lot of y'all that are trying to get stuff, make sure you check him out and get his stuff, help him out so he can do more videos with the stuff that come out. It's always this is for helping each other, and if you guys don't want to spend the money, because I'm telling you, I got a lot of gear videos come out that I spent $300-400 on stuff I shouldn't even bought that I'm probably never going to use, and just to let you know, it's not really worth it. Because I had an argument with somebody about a Cast King reel, and I've caught the slot reds on them, and the drag held up. So it's how you take care of your gear. I mean, I'm not going to buy a $20 reel with like 6-pound drag or something like that and try to catch some frog for it. It's just something, that you got to think common sense on certain things. I mean, now it sounds good to catch a snakehead or a bigger fish on a rocket, one of those kids rods. And I wanted to do that challenge. That'd be awesome. But the question is, how long if we catch something big, will it hold up? That's like, you know what I mean? Like, would that be cool? But then he's like, damn, I spent $30 and I can't use it no more, but it'll be a good video. So,
man, I'm so scared of doing one of those challenges and then hooking like the fish of a lifetime while I have that rod in action. Like that 20-pound snakehead on a Snoopy rod or a rocket rod or whatever.
Got you.
No, that's a great point. Like, there's a certain point of cheap you don't want to go, and I would tell anybody who's listening that's starting out bass fishing or snakehead fishing that your most common off the shelf lose reel is going to be your workhorse type reel and rod that'll land any of those fish. You don't have to get all bougie like the rest of us and that have been fishing for a while to really get into those. But the drag and the gear, I don't know, mechanism, I guess you could say that can withstand what the kind of abuse that's going to happen to a beginner fisherman, because a beginner fisherman is not going to take care of the reels like an experienced fisherman. So I think there's a combination of things happening. So I think if you stick with, your off the shelf reel that ranges about the $100 as a combo, usually it's going to get the job done as long as there's enough drag there when it comes to snakehead anyway. So
I know, Brandon, do you have anything specific rod that you recommend for using for blue cats or flatheads? Because I know Cornflower, he uses the Tiger rods. So
all right, so I use B&M Silver Cat Elites. B&M poles, they're known for making two things: catfish rods and crappie rods. They're big in the crappie game. But with that being said, there's a handful of rods out there. It's all in how much you want to get into them. So for the longest time, I used Bottom Dwellers. It's a company out of Virginia. I used his rods, the Takedown series. And what I found with them, for me, unless you hung a 50-pound fish or better, they were just kind of like a tow truck. If you got anything smaller. So I stopped using them. I switched to medium heavy rods. They're 8-foot casting rods, 8-foot medium heavy casting rods. They're rated for like 12 ounces. And I use Abu Garcia 7000 series reels. With that being said, I've done some other things. Like last year, I did like what I'll call I got bored and I started using lighter tackle. I downgraded to like a Boo 5500, 6500 reels and was using the Ugly Stick catfish rods. They're a casting rod. They're available pretty much anywhere. They're about $30. And then while they have some flex in them, they worked well. In fact, we hung a 58-pound blue on the first fish of one of the rods, 30-pound mono. It held up great. I see some guys in the comments like Travis talking about the Penn Fierce. Cheap price doesn't equate to a cheap reel. Penn's such a big company. A lot of their stuff is good. I have several 6000 series pens that I let people use when I take them fishing. Just because the bait casters can be a little overwhelming when you're new. The round reels and whatnot. Man, there's nothing wrong with Penn. I personally use Battle Series rods and reels for certain applications.
Can I cut you off real quick?
Yeah.
So just to let y'all know, because he was talking about Abu makes Penn. That's what it is. If y'all didn't know that. So if you didn't want to buy Abu and you wanted a pen, you could do that. If you didn't like Abu and you wanted a pen, it's the same. Sorry, Brandon. I just wanted to.
No, you're good. A lot of these guys will say this is what you need or that's what you need. And I'm still a big believer of it comes down to what you like and what you're comfortable with. And, you find something that you like and you build confidence in it, you're going to use it. If I didn't put all the pictures and videos on IG, people would swear that I didn't catch, the thousands of fish that I do on spinner baits. Some of you guys were present for the drama of that inline spinner that I got from Trong over at American Snakehead. I mean, I caught 13 different species of fish on that one lure. It's just because I liked it. It worked for me. I threw it. I've got high dollar rigs out in the shop. And certain applications, I still use, an off-the-counter Lose combo that I bought or an Ugly Stick. Confidence and familiarity with your equipment's the biggest thing.
That's the key right there.
Yes, yes, that is the bluegill slayer's key right there.
That's the.
He really changed his name. Yeah, he really changed the Bluegill Slayer. So I'm gonna tell you guys. So I seen a comment from Mike, and he was like, "Oh, he used Caddy Lynn rods." I have a Caddy Lynn rod when I was on Snakehead Outlaws. Everybody that was on Snakehead Outlaws had got a rod. I've always been using JLS and Backyard Customs. That's just been my thing. I actually own every rod, not every rod, but a lot of other rods, and I'll try to do some reviews on them as I go, and then I'll probably just sell them because I'm really stuck on. I like to keep my stuff with one person, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be branching off and trying to figure out. Oh, I want to use this rod for this rod, or for this or this. So, but I do have some stuff that I'm be doing. Because I've been looking at this saltiest rod that I saw from Daiwa, and I bought it because I wanted to try it out for inshore just to see how it works. I like Brandon said, I still have a Lew's rod when I got back into fishing that I used for snakehead, and I refused to get rid of it because it's red and black, plus it matches my other kayak. But it was like it held up, and I don't just what it is. And people talk about fishing, and you could go to Walmart and get a rod from Walmart. You might not like it. They have ugly sticks and stuff there, but for you guys that's starting off and you're trying to get into it, and like John was saying, if you guys are trying to follow us with mental health stuff and trying to get into fishing, start off from there, figure out what you want to use. There's decent rods there. They have warranty on it. You could take it back to Walmart. Berkeley sells the rod there and see if you like it. Now, if you want to go snakehead fishing and bass fishing, you can still catch a fish on it. I'm not going to tell you that you can't. It is definite that will happen. And
I'm going to tell you, you just said it. I'm going to interrupt you. You just hit a big player. The Berkeley Lightning rod is one of the most underrated rods out there.
That's why I said it. It is. It's really good. It is.
Yeah, it's like $30 in spinning or casting. And I mean, it's one of the most underrated rods there are. I have accidentally hung some decent sized fish on a Berkeley Lightning rod.
So also, and a lot of guys, though, we were talking about riding reels and stuff like that. I'm gonna do this because I was talking to Tommy Tech about this and Steve. Maybe there's a challenge that we should do. We all go to Walmart and pick out what we would use for whatever. If we're doing a salt challenge or a something cheap, because there's a bunch of stuff that people don't like. For example, some people don't like to use the internet. They just don't. It is what it is. I don't know why, but they're still old fashioned. But there's a lot of good lures in Walmart. There's a lot of good lures at Tackle Warehouse. There's a lot of good lures at Casco. There's a lot of good lures. Just all these different companies. But if I was y'all, and this is why I have so much, I utilize everybody's. If somebody puts a coupon code out or a link like that to something off, I utilize it. So if it's somewhere, try to utilize that and help somebody out, because a lot of these people and that's doing it in the game are doing it for you guys to figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work, and if you like it. So you could go to Walmart, you can go to Dick's. Dick's has sales too, but you could also help a local business too. So that as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with all of that, and again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, that a lot of us that have been doing this for a long time, we've kind of found a confidence and maybe a little bit of a kind of like a bouginess about what we're holding in hand when we're fishing. And I'll tell you that there's even on the biggest bass tournament circuit, Matt Robertson, he advertises Monoline, he advertises Ugly Stick. Those are all his sponsors. He don't get into fluorocarbon bullshit. He don't get into any of the high carbon, low carbon, how many wraps it has, how many pieces of glass it has in the wrap on the rod. He doesn't get any of that. He just goes off of his market of what's the common guy can buy. And the guy still places in the top 10, in most pro circuit bass fishing, throughout the world. So it comes down to what we've all been saying tonight. It's all about confidence. It's all about what you can afford. And it's all about what what you feel that you can do to get the job done as far as having a good day on the water. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of marketing going on in the fishing community that we all get wrapped into as well. But I think that for someone who's just starting out, especially like with John's message about, trying to just get people started about mental health, or if it's youth or if it's new fishermen, it doesn't have to be an expensive project. It can be something that you can afford to just get into, because the fish doesn't care what the name is on your pole. The fish don't care what line you have on, and the fish don't care what reel you're throwing or how much drag you have. A lot of times drag, and I'll throw this, and you guys have been fishing a long time, I'll throw this at you. Drag has to do with the fisherman, by the way. You guys know that.
Yeah. So, oh shoot, sorry, man, somebody throwing stuff on my window. Hey, so when you have the equipment, I just wanted to put this run by real quick. So if you're traveling, because I heard a lot of people having their rods break. So we are sponsored by TRC Covers. This is the TRC rod cover. We'll have our own soon, but I recommend. I recommend using this rod because it actually the rod cover actually floats. It's not gonna keep your rod floating, but the tip of it, when you have it strapped, will still float on top. So to protect your rod through travel and stuff like that, it's a must-have. And I know he's like, oh, well, I don't need TRC. Hey, when I put some of this stuff out there, you're going to want it, and you're going to see the difference between that and everything else. So make sure you have a rod covering your stuff. And if you got one of the expensive reels like this, I would damn sure put a reel cover on. I know a lot of people's like, I don't care. But if you spend $200 something plus on a reel, you need to make sure that you protect it and you make sure you do your maintenance on it, because a lot of times when you guys say this reel sucks, when's the last time you serviced it or when you had it done?
It's the operator.
Yeah. So it's like the thing with the drag. You don't need the drag locked down. I mean, if you got a big fish, you just set the drag right and just work it. But I don't think did we miss anything else? I think, I do want to say something. When you're on your kayak or on your boat, make sure you dress appropriately and you wear your life jacket, because I've seen a lot this year where people went, their boat was there, but the guy wasn't on the boat, and I don't know if they found him or not. And that's one of the biggest things. So just make sure you're safe on the water, you stay hydrated, and have some snacks so you keep your energy up, because paddling is a lot. It takes a lot on you. And am I missing anything else? Like, Brandon, am I missing anything?
Anybody going out tomorrow? So it's supposed to be really nice tomorrow. Don't let that fool you, though, because that water is still cold.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
and we'll let that fool you, just like it's out. But man, it was like 30-mile-per-hour winds out, even though it's degrees.
Yeah,
so
I went out for a little bit today too, and when it pushed me all over the place, anchor and all, I couldn't. It was bad. It was nice though.
One thing,
one
kayak
too is always tell somebody where you're going.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Always.
So I just
turn your location on your phone. Like, so many people turn their stuff off. Just turn your location on. Most people have cases and they keep their phone on their person. You know what I mean? It's the little things. And even if you're not thinking about it, think about your family and everything else. There's a few people out there right now that are looking at a boat on their property, wondering where the operator went. I mean, just do everything smart. Be smart, be safe.
Yep. So
I have a tendency to be a little reckless with myself, but I got a son, I have a family. If you can't do it for you, do it for them,
Gotcha. I just wanted to start passing it. And also, I have a radio, so I actually have a radio with me when I go out. So that's something to have. I mean, you don't have to get one, but I got one. I got a pretty nice one. So heaven forbid I flip in the yacht of the kayak I have, and I can't get to it, I could still use my radio, and that's gotta just
It's a cheap backup plan. You know, you can buy a pretty decent radio for about $70. Small, compact,
floating,
and mine has a distress on it. So, Rodney, you got anything safety? We're gonna start closing this down.
I got one really quick. I know that this pertains specifically to kayak fishing. If you're new to kayak fishing, but you've been fishing, for quite a while, whether it be from the bank, the pier, or the boat, lots of fishermen and women love drinking while they're fishing, having a few beers, just chilling, relaxing. When you're on a kayak, it's a little different. You feel every bit of the waves, your sense of balance might get off a lot easier. So I would just suggest getting to know your kayak fishing before you start drinking while you're kayak fishing, because you don't want to go, you don't want to flip your boat and have nobody else around. Then you're just out of sorts, don't know what to do because you got a slight buzz going on.
Yep. I spent a lot of years in a combat role. One of the most drilled things for everybody: complacency kills.
That's right.
Cool. Yep. So, anybody got anything else you want to pass? I do want to say again, Orange 22 is having a giveaway going on, so make sure you follow him on his channel. So give him all the support. Two Folds has got his stuff coming. Support him. The Bluegill Slayer is really the Snakehead Slayer. So Brandon's got his stuff going, and Joe's got his stuff going. Rodney got his stuff going. Steve, Butch, Tommy Tech. If you want to know about a kayak, make sure you follow, and some tech, make sure you follow Tommy Tech Outdoors so you can get everything that's going on. You can find out what kayak is good for you and which one will fit your fishing needs, because there's so much out there. So, anybody got anything else? You want to cut this off?
It's nice chatting with you fellas. I'm taking off.
All right. Hold on. We hit this ending.
Later, brothers.
See you guys.
All right. There we go.
Boo, Rams.